Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the best podcast in the world, the #1 podcast, not only on the charts, but also in our hearts. It is called Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelee.
I'm Erin.
We are the owners of this podcast.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for being here. Okay, today I have good stories. I don't really have an intro. Actually, I do have one intro. Well, Blue is here. I don't think anyone can see him on camera right now, but he's here wandering about. I had headshots today, so my hair and makeup is done.
If we're going to address the elephant in the room, Kelee's hair, makeup, and spray tan is done while I just got out of the shower and blew my hair dry so that it wasn't wet when I came into the studio.
Well, it looks great.
Thank you. My dog is here. He is smelly from daycare. Some of us can only do so much.
Blue, he loves to dig up the carpet in here. So that's my only life update. I'm excited to get into the stories. Erin, give us a life update.
My school semester started. So there goes my personal life.
Excellent. We're playing a game today called Is This Creepy? And I gathered a bunch of stories that could go either way. And we are going to project onto them and decide if we think that these are creepy or not.
Let's hear it for the creeps.
So, should we just get right into it?
Absolutely.
Is this creepy? The first story. I have a friend that keeps making up false stories saying that we did together, and it freaks me out. I used to be close with her in school, but now we only see each other once a year at best. But when I last went out with her, something that was so eerie is the fact that I was out with her and this other girl. The other girl's chill. Her, on the other hand, she saw me with brown hair, and she said, full on, in a serious tone, "Remember when I FaceTimed you?" I never FaceTime anyone. "And you showed me your hair at the salon, and I said you look like a carrot?" In my head, I was like, what the actual hell? How do you have a full-on false sequence in your head of something I never did? She did it multiple times, countlessly recalling false stories, and I had to listen to them and nod because saying, no, that never happened is too much of a fight for a friendship whom I only see once a year. Ugh.
I don't know. I think that I probably, if it was like maybe not something as explicit as you FaceTimed me in the salon, I would maybe be like, wait, are you sure that was me? Like if it's like a memory, I would have been like, wait, I don't think that was me. Are you sure that wasn't someone else?
Yeah, I kind of feel like this could go either way. Part of me feels bad for the girl because maybe she's just trying to like, I don't know. I feel like some people's brains, not that it's a good thing, but they just work differently. And like maybe she doesn't have that many friends and she's trying to like make it seem like you guys are really close.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, remember that time when like blah, blah, blah. It is still weird. But like part of me is like, is she just really, really lonely and like desperate to have these like fun memories to like reminisce when you see each other?
Or does she have a horrible memory and these were things that she said to someone else?
Yeah, it quite possibly could just be she has a terrible memory.
If it is genuinely a terrible memory, then that sucks. If it is made up, then it's a little bit creepy.
Yes, if she's knowing that she is making these things up and just making them up to have something to talk to you about, I do think it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I remember having a fling with this guy once who always went by a nickname, never his real name. And I always knew he was lying to me when he would be like, Erin, you looked me dead in the eye and said, Jimmy, we blah, 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 blah. And I would be like, no, I know that. I never said that because I don't call you Jimmy. I call you James. Or so. Whenever he would say things like that, I would be like, well, I know that was a lie. So it's just interesting because like, I wonder if there's certain things that she would say that you could be like, that was definitely a lie.
Yeah, like I would have never done that.
Like
or
the FaceTime thing. I don't FaceTime anyone,
like,
so it could not have been me. It's just interesting, like when there's certain things.
I feel like when it comes to people that are liars, it's so interesting to think about like if you've ever met a pathological liar and just like making a list or even a mental list of all the things they've lied about, you can like almost always find like something common in all the lies. Like what was the reason that they said that thing and where did it come from, like in their brain? Like what sort of self-esteem issue or confidence issue or whatever it is, trauma issue made them say that thing. Not that you have to give them like a second chance. It's their problem to fix, you know, in therapy. But it is interesting to see like where these things are coming from. And if you know them well enough to like figure it out, it's just pathological lying is just such an interesting topic.
It is so interesting. We could do like a true crime episode, but we just tell like some insane like lying stories too. Blue knows. Blue's my emotional support dog, for those who don't know. And he knows when I'm talking about pathological liars or creepy people. And he just came and got in my lap because he could feel my stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
The person ended this by saying, I didn't care enough about a friendship that I see once a year. So, okay, maybe dump her. Or if you care at all, you could probably text her or call her and just be like, hey, Okay. Blue has joined me on the chair. So anyway, I think if you cared enough about her, you could text her or call her and be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I noticed a few things that you brought up about our friendship or our relationship. And I think you might have been getting mixed up because I don't think those things were me. It's possible it was another friend of yours or something else. But I just wanted to call it out and let you know that I noticed it.
That you're probably mixing memories. But I agree with what she said. It's literally not worth the breath. It's just like, okay, well, see you next Thanksgiving. Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
This is literally Kenny's fault.
No, it's not. Okay,
Fine.
should I read the next
Don't
story?
blame
Like
Kenny.
this?
Can I read it?
Yes, let me go down. Okay.
Creepy DMV employee is stalking my girlfriend. I want to get him fired. She wants me to leave it alone. My girlfriend is really beautiful and just gets a lot of attention from other guys nonstop. I don't usually let it bug me. She's never given me any reason to doubt her, but I'm reaching my wit's end with the situation over the past couple of weeks. She went to the DMV recently to deal with getting a new real ID. The guy working the counter was a bit too flirty with her, told her she was pretty, asked her if she had a boyfriend, etc. She gets that a lot and I just let it slide. It's gotten very weird since then. He sent her flowers at both her parents' addresses, the address on her license, and at her office. He looked at her... Anyway, which means he must have written down the info off of her ID and also looked her up. She thought the flowers to her office were from me, and when I said they weren't, we both got weirded out. He's also found her Instagram and followed her. When she blocked him a couple of days later, he added her on Snap. I'm not happy about this. I want to drive down there and confront him or at least speak to his supervisor. He needs to be fired. In my opinion, this is psychotic behavior. He's literally a public employee misusing government resources to stalk a customer. My girlfriend keeps trying to talk me out of it. She says I don't get how it is to be a woman in her position. She's always dealt with this kind of behavior. It's creepy, but more common than I realize, and it'll be far less dramatic if we both just ignore it. I just can't accept that some jerk using her professional info to stalk her is normal. For her sake and for any other women coming into the DMV, I just want him gone. Go to his supervisor.
That is so crazy and scary.
That is psychotic behavior. It's inappropriate behavior. It's unprofessional behavior. It's so uncomfortable. Go to his supervisor.
That is actually terrifying, though. And I would think that if he's going as far as sending flowers and doing multiple things, it's probably not the first time that he's done it. Because you would think, I mean, maybe it is, but I would speculate that someone would probably work up to see like how many steps they can get away with. And I think that you should not approach him because you don't really know anything about him. But yes, approach a supervisor immediately. And the girl should not just let that go because obviously he's using his position of power, which the power he has is gaining access to thousands of people's home
Personal
addresses. Yeah, and I'm sure
information.
other information. I don't really know what goes into a real ID, maybe like birth certificate. I don't know. Some sort of personal information that is not something to mess around with. And ew, that's so bizarre.
It's absolutely disgusting. Stalking is disgusting. Let me leave it at that. But yes, honestly, you could probably file a police report too, because he's definitely breaking the law and using personal information that I'm most positive he signed a contract that he would not steal personal information working at the DMV, let alone use it to his own advantage.
Yeah.
So I would probably go to the police, file a police report, and maybe take the police with you when you speak with the supervisor, because this is so far past a breach of confidentiality. It's disgusting.
Also the power imbalance too, because he knows everything about her and she doesn't know anything about him. And that already just like puts her at such a huge disadvantage and puts him in such a position of power that is so scary and weird and unfair. So no, I would think that's definitely creepy. The answer is yes, and you need to do something about it.
Yeah. Saying like, let this slide, or, you know, I'm a woman and these things happen. We're women. These things do happen. It's not okay.
Yeah, and it's up to us to stop these things from happening again. Like, they happen and we're just conditioned to be like, oh, well, these things happen. Well, they shouldn't be. And the only way that you can try to stop them from happening again is to do
Report
something
it.
about it. Yeah, when it happens to you.
And I completely agree with what the writer of the story said. Like, I don't want this to happen to another woman. It is absolutely in our hands to prevent it from happening again.
Right.
1000%.
Yeah.
Just because the last person didn't do something doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, 100% creepy. Go to court.
Wait, I like
maybe
reading
not
the
court.
stories. Can I read
Okay.
the next one?
Yeah, you just got to read them with some pizzazz, you know?
Okay.
Okay. Before we get into the next story, I want to talk about a product that I've been loving. I don't know about you guys, but on many occasions, I tend to struggle when it comes to focus and productivity. I'm at my desk and I just can't focus, and I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs until I can get myself to finish half of a task. And it is the most annoying feeling, especially when you are busy and have a million things on your to-do list. There are so many days where I just wish that I could have a magic fix and coffee just isn't doing the trick. Thankfully, I found something that works for me, and that is Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a mental performance shot that is made up of tons of natural ingredients that help your brain to work better and help you to be more productive throughout your day. Magic Mind helps with focus, clarity, a sharper mind, less stress, and clean energy. I drink it along with my morning coffee, and it just helps the caffeine to work better by helping my brain to utilize it in a more productive way. I've been drinking Magic Mind for over a year and I love it. It truly makes my brain work better. It makes me more productive. It makes me less jittery from caffeine. I am so excited about Magic Mind's newest offering, which is a 24-hour pack. The 24-hour pack comes with daytime shots that help with mental clarity and productivity during the day, and the sleep shots that help you fall asleep faster and get a deeper rest. And on top of all those benefits, Magic Mind donates 5 cents from each bottle sold to mental health charities that help U.S. homeless communities. So if you're looking for something to help you be more productive during the day and sleep better at night to get you on a better path of productivity in the new year, Magic Mind might be the product for you. I've been drinking Magic Mind for a while now, and I definitely notice a difference in myself, and I would love for my friends and listeners to try it if it's something that you might be interested in. If you are interested in trying it, you can use the link in our bio or go to www.magicmind.com/STOPJAN STOPJAN for 45% off of the 24-hour pack, which is such a huge discount. This is a great opportunity to try it for the first time and see if you like it. So once again, if you're interested in trying Magic Mind and seeing if it helps you be more productive in your daily life and get a better sleep at night, head to the link in our bio for 45% off and let me know if you like it.
All my friends think my girlfriend is creepy. Are they right? I started dating my girlfriend, let's call her Alice, about 7 months ago. From the moment I met her in class, I felt an instant connection. She was beautiful, smart, and we shared a bunch of common interests. Long story short, we flirted for a few weeks before I finally asked her out, and we've been happily going out since. About a month ago, my hometown friends and I were planning to hang out, and I invited Alice. Everything went well, and when I was driving her home, she told me how much she liked my friends. When I asked my friends what they thought of Alice, they all said she seemed nice, all except my best friend, quote, Ruben. When I asked
Ruben.
When I asked him, he told me that he hated her. I immediately questioned why, hoping it was them not mixing well, as I can acknowledge that Ruben and Alice are complete opposites when it comes to interests and personality. But Ruben told me he hated her because of how creepy she is, and that I was better off dumping her. Now this threw me off, as I had never once considered Alice creepy. She's actually the cutest girl I'd ever met, and I'd never felt more comfortable around someone as I do her. Before I can even ask what he meant, he went off on a rant about how uncomfortable she made him feel and started citing stories I told him about our dates during college. Stuff like how she'd stare at me without saying anything and just enjoyed looking at me, how she would eat the same meals whenever we went to dinner, how unjealous she was whenever a girl came up and flirted with me, or about her deep knowledge of poisons and love for murder mysteries and true crime.
Okay.
Both of which she could talk about for hours, but neither of which she actually talked about at the party. He said that while he wrote them off before, since they didn't seem to bother me, which they don't, but after meeting her in person and seeing how weird and flighty she was, he can tell that she's a secret psycho and will end up either breaking my heart or physically hurting me. I tried to explain to him.
He just knows that.
Yes. I tried explaining to him how any weirdness was probably just because she was nervous about meeting my friends for the first time. But he insisted that we've had friends' significant others have anxiety before and that she was just plain weird. I blew him off at first because he sounded fucking crazy. Alice isn't perfect, but she's far from creepy. But after 2 weeks of him telling me to dump her and me getting tired of telling him to drop it, I reached out to a few of our friends to prove him wrong. But to my surprise, they all agreed that Alice was creepy. Most of them said that the way she spoke really threw them off. Which is fair since Alice can be weirdly formal sometimes, but I didn't notice her doing that at the party at all. And typically, it's much more funny than unsettling. Most of my friends told me it wasn't enough to break up with her since they still genuinely found her sweet and fun to be around. But I did have one other friend say it was worth breaking up over, and he was just too embarrassed to tell me at first.
What?
I have no plans of breaking up with Alice because of all this stuff they're saying and calling her creepy. I find it cute when she does these things. But are they right? Is it creepy she does that stuff? Should I talk to her about it? Should I just tell my friends to F off and ignore their concerns? I feel bad for even questioning this, but with all of my friends agreeing, it's starting to gnaw at me, and I just need some clarification if it's actually creepy or if they're just being dramatic. I think they're being dramatic.
I think they've never experienced human connection. Romantic human connection.
To not be jealous when a girl flirts, or to order the same meal at dinner, or to just look at you and admire your person.
I think that they don't understand healthy relationships. And I also think that in general, people think way too many things are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Although I feel like you could find a quote of me saying we don't think enough things are weird, because there are certain things that I think people let slide that I would not agree with. But anyway, ordering the same meal at dinner is not inherently creepy. Maybe you just have the same taste. Maybe you were just in the same mood.
Or
that
she's
night.
indecisive and was like, oh, that sounds good. Ordered what you ordered.
Yeah. But it's funny because these are all things that if you wanted to paint someone in a bad light, you could cite all of these things, but then you could use the same like evidence and be like, we're so compatible and we're so romantic because of this. It's like when you watch a movie or a trailer and it's like, which music is playing over it? Is it the romantic Taylor Swift love song playing over it with this evidence? Because then it's romantic. But if it's the scary, like dark, deep, rainy vibe and you see like her in the corner and it's like boom and she's just like over there, then it's like, I'll have this salad too, boom. Then it's scary and weird and creepy.
I say we take it down a notch, give it a little bit of time. I don't think Alice is creepy.
No, but I don't think it's bad to keep your guard up, maybe, and just if something weird does happen, you can maybe think back to the vibe that your friends got, if your friends are typically good friends to you.
Yeah, I think maybe if it's hitting a point where you're like, maybe I need to talk to her or break up with her about it, just build a little bit more of a case first.
Right, because if this girl seems perfect and you're like, I love her, we're so compatible, we agree on so many important things in life, but I'm gonna break up with her. If someone asked you, oh my gosh, why are you breaking up with Alice? She's wonderful. And your reason was, well, she likes to look at me and she ordered the same food as me when we went out to dinner. you would be the creepy one.
That would
You
be,
would be the weird
so
one.
insane. Yeah.
Yes. People would think you are crazy.
Yes. You've got more of a case to build for certain.
Yeah. And honestly, not only people would think you're crazy, I think you actually would be, I'm not going to call you crazy because you can break up with someone for any reason you want. I would think most reasonable people would maybe agree that someone ordering the same food as you at a restaurant is not like grounds to break up with them if they're perfect in every other way.
For sure. A little strange, but let's build more of a case before we dump anyone.
Yeah, if you've known her for 7 months or you've dated her for 7 months and the weirdest thing she does is look at you, food, and I don't even know what the other one was. Oh, she
speaks too formal.
She speaks formally and she's interested in true crime. The amount of people that are interested in true crime, I'm sure there are bad people or weird people that are interested in true crime, but it's not like she's going and meeting your friends and being like, did you guys know that in 1976? And like telling you the exact
people take that to the extreme. Like it would be like someone, and this is, I just know because I dated someone who was so dramatic all the time like this, would probably look at his current girlfriend and be like, you listen to Stop the Internet podcast, you love drama, you just love making drama, starting drama, talking about drama, you're so dramatic because you listen to Stop the Internet podcast. No. If you listen to true crime, it doesn't mean you're going to murder someone.
Yes,
exactly. If you listen to our podcast, it doesn't mean you live for drama.
No, you live for healthy advice and funny people.
People need things to entertain them in the off hours, okay? And it's better to listen to true crime than to go to the DMV and steal someone's address and stalk them.
Yes. And I am not the biggest true crime person. Like I'll listen to a case every once in a while, or there are a few cases that like everyone in America knows that are just interesting. So overall, it's not my favorite thing. But I can also admit that there are a lot of positives that come from listening to true crime. It makes people more aware of the behaviors that weird people do. It makes people probably look behind them when they're walking from the store to their car late at night. Like it does help people, I'm sure, in many ways. So maybe she's just interested in learning more about how to be safe herself.
Yeah. I think the formal language is killing me. Like, how dare Alice have gone to etiquette class or learned proper grammar growing up?
Right.
And you guys can't handle that.
Right. She doesn't say bruh and riz.
I just learned what riz meant literally 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of already forgot it, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Alice knows what's up. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a fan of her.
Yeah. Don't dump her or we'll take her in.
You know that if Alice got broken up with, she would write into a forum or a dating podcast and be like, I thought everything was going perfectly, but my boyfriend of 7 months blindsided me. I asked him why, and he stated the reasons he broke up with me. Is this overreacting?
Because I look at him, because when I can't decide what I want at dinner, I just go with whatever he orders. And because I
am well spoken.
And because I'm educated.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, this one's good. My friends are warning me to leave my boyfriend, but won't tell me why. Am I missing something?
I think I included this because I don't even know if I read the story or fully read the story, but I have an interesting question that goes along with it. Okay, go on.
It does say these people are in their 20s. They've been together for 1 year. And it says the following dialogues are not verbatim, but I made it just so you get the point. I've been dating my boyfriend for about a year, and I thought everything was going great, or at least from my perspective. He's charming, attentive, and we have so much fun together. But lately, my friends have been acting really weird about him. They've started dropping subtle comments like, are you sure you're happy? Or, you know we're here for you, right? It feels like they're trying to hint at something, but whenever I ask them outright, they just shrug it off or change the subject. Recently, one of my closest friends told me, I think you should get out of this relationship before it gets worse. But she refused to give me a reason. She just said, I can't tell you right now, but you'll see eventually.
What?
I feel stuck because I don't see what they're saying. Sure, my boyfriend has his flaws, like he's a bit controlling about how I spend spend my time. Red flag. For example, he doesn't like it when I go out with my friends without him and will call or text me constantly to check in. If I don't answer right away, he gets upset and accuses me of ignoring him. He also doesn't really like my friends and will say things like, I just don't think they're good for you, or they're jealous of what we have.
Oh, God.
He's also made some concerning comments about my appearance. He'll tell me I don't need to wear makeup or dress up because I'm already his. And if I push back, he gets defensive and says he's just being honest. He even threw out a few of my favorite outfits once, saying they didn't fit the new me.
The new me?
Another thing that's been bothering me is how he handles money. He insists on paying for most things, which seemed generous at first, but now he uses it against me. If we argue, he'll bring up how much he's done for me financially, making me feel guilty. He's even asked me to quit my job because he can take care of everything. But I love my job and I don't want to give it up. The other day, he went through my phone while I was in the shower, claiming he was just curious because I've been acting distant. I wasn't even acting weird, but he said it like I had something to hide. He apologized later, but now I feel like I have to walk on eggshells to avoid upsetting him. When it's just us, he's sweet and loving. He talks about our future together, and he's there when I'm upset. But my friend's reactions and his behavior have me second-guessing everything. Am I overthinking this, or are my friends overreacting? Or is there something I'm too blinded by love to see? I don't know what to do, and their silence is starting to make me anxious. Any advice would be appreciated. I've dated this guy.
Yeah. This is not the guy for you or for any of us.
This is not the guy for anyone.
I would say dump him right now.
Run for the hills, honey. Run for therapy while you still can.
Get out of there, honey. Get out of there.
Sweetie, this is not the boy for you.
Your friend sees... Okay. Your friends see something that you don't see.
Oh, she sees it. She sees it. She wrote it.
Your friends see the things that you see without your rose-colored glasses on. This is bad. This is very, very,
really
very bad. Everything about him is creepy and terrible and bad. And if you have been friends with people for years and they have always been a good friend to you, they've always looked out for you, and they're kind people, and they support you and they love you, and every single one of them says the exact same thing about some random stranger that you just started dating, they might be right about them. So I think you should consider what your friends are saying, and you should take all the things that you just wrote down and really analyze them. Why would he want you to quit your job? Why would he want to distance you from your friends?
Have you read Behind Closed Doors?
I haven't, but I could guess what it's about.
This man and this woman are so incredibly in love. He convinces her to quit his job, or to quit her job, and they get married, and he locks her in a room in the house, and no one knows what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, and I guess nobody knew she was missing because she didn't have a job.
He would let her go out like with their friends, only with him, so she couldn't bring it up or say anything. Or he would put her back in the room, you know.
Yeah, this is very creepy.
This is not okay. I'm not kidding. I actually have dated this man. Like I all but could have written this story, and I didn't see it because I was in high school at the time, but I wasted 2 years of my life listening to my friends say, get out of this, you don't see it. And I didn't see it, but I could have written these things. I could have written that he doesn't allow me to see my friends without him, or that he blows up my phone, or that he tells me I can't wear makeup because I'm already his. It's one thing to say, don't wear makeup, I love you the way you are, you're beautiful, or jokingly be like, oh, you've got no one to impress, I'm right here. It's one thing to say it in a supportive way, but to say you don't need makeup and you don't need to look like that because you're already mine, inappropriate.
And for him to throw out your things.
Throwing out your things is so beyond no.
That's actually like physical. That is just abuse. That's just not okay.
Yeah. And the going through your phone, I've been there too. It's caused blowout fights, even when, like, you know, like she said, you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to hide, but crazy people will do crazy things and they will blame you for their crazy thoughts.
And I wonder too, if her friends who are not being straightforward with her, if they were straightforward with you, would you even listen?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can't can't be straightforward with your friend because they are not gonna, like, if you're in it, you're not gonna believe people. You're going to be very defensive and try to convince them that they're wrong, and you're not actually gonna listen or hear them out. It's nearly impossible to do it once you're in it and when you're in that deep. So maybe that's why they're not going to tell you to their face, because if they tell you to your face, it's possible that you would just get mad at them and be like, well, F you guys, you don't love me anyway, you don't support me, you don't want me to be happy, and then you would leave them. Whereas if they just drop these little hints and they're like, well, maybe you'll see what we see one day, and you're like, well, what does that mean? It causes you to think about your own situation. I'm not saying that's the best case scenario or what they should be doing, but maybe they're just scared that you're going to be mad at them.
Well, I have two things to say. The first thing is that they often won't tell you. This is in my case when I lived this, when they did say things like you can't date him because he does these things, I would then approach my boyfriend and say, you do these things and it's not okay. And they would be like, what are you talking about? Who said that? And then I would be like, well, my close friend, like I was talking about it with Amanda and she did point out that, and then it's me or Amanda. You will not be friends with someone who drags my name through the mud like that. And who did I choose? Him.
Right.
I always chose him because I was blinded by love. And then I ended up cutting off a lot of friends in those years that I didn't even realize I was doing it until afterward. So that's the first point. The second point is that they did say something along the lines of, well, I can't tell you right now. So maybe they know that he's done something before and they don't want to just like throw it out there and her be like, either defend him for it or bring it up to him and it cause a bigger issue. I know why the friends aren't being straightforward with her. And you know what? Here's the thing, though, that I will say. I was in high school when this happened to me, and I had never been in a serious relationship before, and I really didn't know what was going on. These people are 25 and 27. They're adults. They're full adults. Like, I wish her friends would speak up more, and I wish she would know now that you really do. You know, your frontal lobe is fully formed now. Please listen to your friends.
Yeah,
please use reasoning and see that these things are not okay.
I think, though, that these things, it's like any age. Like, of course, it's maybe you're more susceptible to things when you're young and you don't have as much experience and you haven't seen as much. But
her.
No, but I am saying, like, it's still like 25 is so young still.
It is.
You know, it could be her first relationship.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it is, but it's also like you are an adult. You have more life experience to build thoughts around. And I would think that at this point in your life, if you're writing the story, you've probably read some books, seen friends in relationships, watched some movies. These things are not okay.
Yeah.
Not okay. You need to leave him. You need to for your own safety.
Yeah. So the other question I was going to ask about this story is, if you were dating someone and they were seemingly perfect, but your friends were like, really, you should break up with them, would you listen to them?
Well, that sounds like the last story, really.
Yeah, true. I guess it's not, I guess everything, it's like context is everything.
Context, I think, is everything. I think if everything was seemingly perfect and my friends were saying you need to break up with them, I would need a checklist as to why.
Yeah.
But this girl, everything is not seemingly perfect.
I know. That's why I was like, I wonder, because I wasn't expecting her to like go into detail about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I just thought that where the story was going to go was there was going to be no detail. And I was probably still going to say, I do think you should hear your friends out.
Yeah.
And you should make a list in black and white and
really
go over it in your head.
I think your question is more applicable to the prior story.
Yeah.
Because in that relationship, everything was seemingly perfect. And his friends said you should break up with her and gave weird reasons. And he didn't agree with them. And we don't think he should break up with her.
Right.
So I think that it is all situational. And if everything truly is seemingly perfect and your friends can't give you a good reason, then no, don't.
Right.
Don't break up with them if there is no good reason. In this relationship, she can see that everything's not perfect. She just listed some issues and her friends are saying it.
Right.
So maybe just like rethink a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
My friend lied about her age. I'm 28 and I met my friend about a year and a half ago on a friend app in the new city I'm in. When we first met, she told me she was 22, but she had a birthday last January, which in my mind would make her 23. That's pretty young, but her boyfriend is 28 and she's pretty mature, so it was never a thing. In November, we hosted a Friendsgiving and she told my friends that she was meeting for the first time that she was 25. This threw me off, but I wondered if I misheard her the first time or maybe something like that and I brushed it off. We were together again on Christmas and age came up because we were talking thinking about the years that we graduated high school. I didn't hear her chime in on the conversation at all, but when her and her boyfriend left, my fiance and I were debriefing and he questioned her age once again. I remembered the two ages of 23 and 25, but I wasn't sure, so I looked it up on social media, and it turns out she's actually 20 because she posted a photo in 2022 saying, finally 18. And then, as I looked some more into her profile, her aunt posted in 2019 saying happy 15th birthday to my favorite niece.
What?
Why is this like, what's the man that
orphan.
ages? No, the man that ages backwards.
Oh, Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button. She's getting younger and
She's
younger.
literally getting younger.
But this is like the horror movie, The Orphan.
Well, not really, but you know.
I confronted her about it, and at first she tried to lie again, saying she is actually 23 and only lies about being 25 in social settings so that she's not judged.
What?
I then confronted her, telling her I've seen the birthday post, and she admitted it all to me after me asking her directly 2 different times what age she was. I was super nice with her, and we still haven't talked about it because she basically said she needed time to process it and wanted to talk at another time. I would like to hear what she has to say, and I'm really upset because I love her as a friend. But this is an active lie, and I can think of multiple things she's had to lie about to maintain this one lie. It's not about maturity or anything like that because she is really mature and completely fine to be around. But it's the fact that there are a lot of conversations that we've had that are now disingenuous, all because she had to cover up her age. I'm also really weirded out by her boyfriend because they started dating when she was 18 and he was 26. I also think age isn't that important when you get older, but being 20 and him being 28 is a little strange to me still. I thought the relationship has been a little off lately, but I couldn't put my finger on why, and now it makes sense. It's infuriating that she's been underage drinking in my home and in my presence without me having a choice in the matter. My fiance and I are pretty well established, and he's a director of operations in his company, and I work in the helping field where drinking with someone who is underage could severely impact my job.
Wait, what field?
The helping field.
What does that mean? Okay.
They're into helping. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
There's so much to unpack here, and I'm still processing this, but any sort of feedback is appreciated because my head is all in knots. Overall, I really don't know that I can move past this, but I'd love some perspective. I would walk away because
I mean, what?
Why? Like to keep up that facade over an age for so long. What else are they lying about? There's too much. No. Once you catch them in one lie that's that crazy. No.
It's also not like she always says that she's 1 year older than she is for any reason. Like, I don't know, or if they say they're younger than they are. Like, people have weird issues with age. The fact that she caters her age to whatever group she's in. She's like, well, I told you I'm 22. I only tell people I'm 25 in social settings. What? That is crazy. To tell different people different things. I mean, yes, I do think it's bizarre that the boyfriend started dating her when she was 18 and he was 26. I just think that's a weird age gap.
That's besides this point.
But I'm even wondering, did he know how old she was when they started dating?
Or do we know how old he actually is?
Yeah, I don't know who she met first.
Part of me wonders, I wonder 2 things. I wonder if, one, she's been lying to the boyfriend. He didn't know how old she was because that's what she said. It all makes sense now. 2, I wonder if we don't actually know how old the boyfriend is and if she's lying about the boyfriend's age as well.
Right.
Because if this woman and her fiance are 28, she could be like, yeah, I'm 24, 23, but my fiance's 20 or my boyfriend's 28 when he's, 24 or 25.
Yeah. I think that it just shows that she's very immature, and I don't think as an adult you need to be, I mean, she's basically a child, and legally she's not a child, but she's acting like a child, and if it's not immaturity, it's a whole nother problem. So yeah, I just think that it's not worth it, but that is so weird. That is very bizarre.
Weird. And I completely agree with the underage drinking in the house thing. Like, she lied to an extent that you're doing illegal things, like without knowing it. It's just not worth it. It's literally not worth having an underage person in your house drinking. It's one thing to go to a bar and meet someone and be like, oh yeah, I'm however old. It's another thing to keep up a facade for this long.
Yeah.
It's too big of a lie to look past. Mm-hmm. I've been lied to by someone about their age, and it led to a slew of lies.
Yeah.
So when all is said and done and everything's unwrapped, the truth comes out. And it's just not worth keeping these people around.
Yeah, that's really, really weird. Also, I guess that like it might seem dramatic to be like, oh, there's an underage person like drinking in your house. No, if you think about it, if something were to go wrong, like if she was having a party and there was a medical emergency.
That's what I was thinking.
And the cops come and they're like, wait, who is this girl? And how are you're just giving her alcohol? And then like you find out that she's actually 18. Like that's like could possibly be a felony. Like that's it's really and the thing is, I get it that like parents give their kids alcohol and like in the house, whatever, and it's not seen as this like it's worst sin of all time. But it's the fact that you don't know this girl, and so you don't know what she's capable of. That's just like a question that I would always be asking. If she's capable about lying about her age, that might be her like her craziness, her capability of craziness. It could end there. It could end at any other point of the spectrum as well. Like
we've seen it unravel.
Like you have no idea. So I just wouldn't mess around with it. And I think it's creepy, honestly. If it's not creepy, it's immature and it's dumb and pointless. And either of those things I wouldn't want in my life.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I agree that keeping up this facade for so long is showing she's capable of bigger lies, because people are.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that she's constantly switching,
crazy.
Bye.
Literally, adios.
Yeah.
Adios.
Okay, do we have any more?
I'm turned off by a guy due to financial reasons.
Okay.
Sounds a little first worldy. Okay, so I've been speaking to this guy, right? Oh, I already hate how this person writes.
A pet peeve of mine, which like doesn't really make sense because I'm sure I've done it, is when people say right while they're talking in situations that you don't need to say right.
Like this?
So, yes. Or if they're saying, so I'm a nurse, right? And I work in a hospital.
Right.
Why did you have to say right?
I know.
I'm a nurse and I work in a hospital.
I agree.
Why do you have to say right? Like, that just pisses me off.
I started reading the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, just because I was like, I don't know that I really can read a self-help book, but I would like to learn to not give a fuck in life. I got a couple chapters in and I had to put it down because the writing was that.
Really?
The writing was as if the person was speaking in that tone. And it's difficult because everything I've read so far is very interesting, and it's interesting. I want to talk to you about it because it really depicts like certain ways that we think, and it kind of explains how you and I act in opposite ways in certain things. And it's very interesting, and he makes incredible points where I'm like, wow, this makes sense. But I can't.
It's like painful to read.
I can't tolerate the writing. No,
like the casual writing
that was turned into a self-help novel. I'm like, I could have written this, and I understand that it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be so casual that anyone can read it as a self-help book. But I don't know. It's almost difficult.
I know. Oh my God. I feel like I notice that in interviews all the time with like celebrities and semi-celebrities. Not to name names, but specifically Kim Kardashian says the word multiple times in every single sentence in every interview she does. And I've tried to listen to podcasts where she's talking about like herself on a deeper level, like with Jay Shetty, or like, I don't know. I think she went on Diary of a CEO. So who knows, whatever. I could be saying the wrong podcast, but she starts almost every sentence with, I've been in this industry a long time, and it's is used as a filler word and not actually what it's meant for, which is like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you understanding where I'm at in this situation? Right. It's not a word to start a sentence. And I think that she says, and a lot of people do it too, but I just always notice it with her. People say, the same way that other people say like, but because everyone and their mom says like, and people have just deemed that as stupid, dumb girls say like, but people haven't caught on that, is like a stupid, dumb thing to say, and it's a dumb filler word that's irrelevant. They're seen differently. I don't know. I don't know the point I'm trying to make, but basically, like is a filler word, and we all know it, so we all criticize it. Is also, and right, and right are also filler words that are so annoying and irrelevant, and it dumbs down your sentence and your argument.
Yes.
If you're not using it correctly, if you're actually using it as a filler word, but nobody talks about this.
Yes.
Nobody talks about a annoying it is. But everyone says, I'm a nurse, right? I have a podcast, right? Drives me up a wall.
Yes, I actually was watching when it first came out, the most recent episode of Love is Blind.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say this podcast. And I was like,
No.
tell me that I say
of
right.
Love is Blind. And the guy, I'm just going to name names, Leo. He's the guy that like pretends he has so much money, and he like talks about his like Rolex, and he like tells Brittany how much he like loves her like so much. There is a scene in this show where he says like in between every word, and it is a long scene. It is like a long scene going back and forth like between the two of them. Like at first we were laughing about it. My friend and I who were watching, at first we were laughing. Then I texted Kelee and I said, you should actually make a TikTok of this and ring a bell and start a tally, because it's unbelievable. You actually can't count it.
Oh my God.
And then I hit a point where I was past the funny. I was past the this is unbelievable, and I couldn't tolerate it. I literally had to pause the TV and walk away because it was so irritating. It literally felt like nails on a chalkboard to listen to. All that I could think was, this man just flaunts his money, he flaunts his education, he flaunts his career, and he is so poorly spoken. It's painful. Please, sir, like, sell your like Rolex and like get an education. Like, come on, sell like a piece of art, or like, oh, like I just love this girl. Like, oh,
so annoying.
You know what? In 2025, we're working on being more well spoken. How about that?
I do think I can work on it. I say the word like.
No, we all do.
Yeah, everyone does, even if you don't.
We all do.
It.
I say it. I probably say it more often than would bother someone else.
Yeah.
I'm just specifically talking about the people that blow it out of proportion.
Yeah.
I am going to watch that scene and do a tally.
Yeah.
So when I come back on the next episode, I can clarify that this was disproportionate to the conversation. I will show how long the scene is and how many times he said the word like.
Yeah.
Because it is painful. Let's work on
God.
our speech, our grammar, our being well spoken, our sentences.
I was in a photography mastermind, and they brought in this really renowned photographer to tell us all her secrets and give this kind of class, but just a speech on tactics and strategy and whatever. She said like more than anyone I've ever encountered, and I'm never going to say who it is because I don't want to call her out, but I almost wish I could so that people could go and watch her Instagram story or something. It was so annoying, and everyone in this mastermind I was in was obsessed with her.
No.
And I was like, I think her work is beautiful and it's good. She's not the best that's ever lived, but that's how they thought of her.
Yes.
And because of that, I think nobody saw how annoying she was. And I muted it. I paid thousands of dollars for this mastermind to sit on Zoom once a week and hear somebody talk about their strategy, and I muted it. And after I said something to some of the girls who I was closer with, I might have texted them or said something and was like, did anyone realize how much she said like? And they were like, no, I loved when she talked about blah blah blah. And I was like, you guys, it was so annoying
because people are blinded by it. So that's what I'm saying about this guy Leo from Love is Blind. People were so blinded by making fun of him for talking about money and how rich he is nonstop, and literally taking off his Rolex in the men's clubhouse to like whatever to put it on other people, to let his friends try it on.
Yeah.
People were so blinded about. So that's the thing. I was just flabbergasted. I had no words for it. So I went to social media to see if other people were talking about how many times he said like, because I couldn't believe it. I actually couldn't believe it. And I didn't see anywhere that anyone else was talking about it. And I was blown away because but I think it was because everyone was so taken back by his personality being his money that no one was paying attention to how terrible it was to listen to him speak. But yeah, it was. Anyway, okay, right? Let's get to the story, right?
He's annoying, right? So
he's annoying, right? Let's get to the story. Okay, so I've been speaking to this guy, right?
Right.
This guy always offers to buy me things without me hinting or insinuating anything, but he never follows through with it. Sounds kind of like Leo, and I'm just kidding. It's been giving me the ick. But I've kept my mouth shut because I don't feel obligated to a guy spending money for me. Wait, you don't feel obligated to a guy spending money on you?
Yeah. So when he promises you sweet nothings, but he never follows through, she's like, well, I'm not going to say anything because, yes, he promised to buy me a Rolex, but I'm not entitled to a Rolex, so I can't say anything.
Okay.
That's the vibe I got from it, at least.
See, I would have never cared hadn't he offered, but it's confusing to me because why would you offer to get me a couple of things and then not get it for me? He has done this on multiple occasions. He has bragged about his shoe collection and several watch collections as well. Leo, get off our podcast.
Leah, what are you doing here?
Leo. Today we went out for a walk and had some coffee, and he had bought my coffee along with a croissant. I said thank you right away. The total for these items was around $15. As I'm drinking my coffee and eating my croissant, he tells me to say thank you again.
No.
I hesitated and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to say thank you earlier? He replied with, no, I just wanted to hear you say it again. That made me feel weird and had given me an even bigger ick because I could have just paid for it myself. Am I in the wrong for being repulsed by this behavior? Am I materialistic?
No.
No, Leo is.
No, he's trying to control you.
No, he's trying to woo you with money that he doesn't have.
But also, he's definitely trying to be controlling because the fact that he's like, I just wanted to hear you say thank you again. I just wanted to hear you thank me for all the things I've done for you, $3 croissant. For all the money that I've dished out on you.
Here's the funny thing. I've dated this guy too. I dated a guy. This didn't last very long. He drove a Porsche. He owned a couple of Rolexes.
Daddy?
That's all he had.
Right.
That's it. That is it. You want the kicker of this? I paid for the first date. It was like a group thing. I paid for that. Second date, I paid for because I got there first and I put my card down to order a drink. And then we went and did like an activity and came back and then he paid for the second drink. So I guess we split the first date. Next date, I paid for completely because I got there again. He was a half an hour to an hour late and I sat there by myself throwing them back. So I put my card down for that. And by then it was like, all right, just charge the cart. Listen again. I'm not obligated to a man spending his money on me.
I meant the buyout to the 30 minutes to an hour late.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, a man needs to spend his money on me. But like, sir, with your 2 Rolexes and your Porsche.
Right. If you want to flex on me, let's see it. Let's flex.
Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. I will always say thank you when someone buys me things. I'm wondering how many thank yous I got for buying him all these things.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because let's be so for real. I'm a nurse. I'm on a nurse's salary. I'm no Kim K flaunting my bags and my cars. But if you are going to be the person that tries to flaunt your bags and your watches and your cars, do not expect the other person to pay for everything. Do you have money or do you not?
I think this is honestly not about money. I think it's about he was trying to woo you with the thought of money and promise you sweet nothings because the promises are what's going to get into your head. And like, you're going to be so excited for the day that he finally buys you the watch. He finally buys you the car. You're going to stick around long enough to see it. And he's going to rope you in with some other manipulative tactic. Yeah. You're going to have to forget all about the watch. I never said I would buy you a watch. Why the would I buy you a watch? You don't deserve a watch. Like, it starts with these little things. Yeah. And the fact that he demanded that you say thank you a second time, that is so problematic. And the fact that you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, did I not say thank you? Because I could see if you did a nice gesture for someone and you were truly offended and you told them how you truly felt and you were like, hey, like, I wanted to buy you this. And honestly, it would have been nice if you were a little thankful for it, or if you just said thank you, it would have made me feel good about it or something. I don't know. I can see getting offended that the person that you really care for, that you just did a good deed for, like, didn't say thank you. And like, sure, speak your piece.
Oh, I say you're welcome if someone doesn't say thank you, because in 2025, we're not being rude either.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, but the fact that he said, oh, no, you already said thank you. I just wanted to hear you say it again. Like, no. Manipulative and creepy and weird. Goodbye.
That's not giving you the ick. That's giving you red flag. You need to walk away from that.
That's not giving you the ick. That is intuition and just you know that is not okay and that something is weird about it.
It's lies and it's aggressive. It's so weird.
It's so very weird. It's very weird. I think that was all of them.
Yes, that was the last of our stories.
Wow. Okay, I like that we kind of had a mix.
Yeah, I agree. Because when you sit me down and you say, oh, here's the topic we're going to talk about, is this creepy? Well, if it's on the list, it's probably creepy. That's what goes through my head. Like, yeah come on.
Well, I try to pick things where you can kind of see both sides because, like I said earlier in one of the stories, some of these things, if you play it with scary music, it's going to be creepy. And if you play it with romantic music, you could make a case that it's not creepy.
Sure. Absolutely.
So that's what I like to debate.
I agree. I think they were all debatable. I would like to hear anyone who listens who disagrees with us.
Yes, I agree with that. I would like to hear that as well.
I would enjoy hearing what people disagree. And give me your reasoning. You know, give me your because.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Don't just tell me you disagree with me.
Yeah, tell us why.
Give me
Pick a fight.
Yes. Come on, let's fight.
So tell us in the comments, please.
Please and thank you.
And thank you. And please share our podcast with your friends and your family and your enemies and your lovers.
And don't share it with Leo from Love is Blind because I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm just saying he was probably in an emotional state, but you know.
Or Kim Kardashian. Kim, I'm sorry. I know she listens. So yeah, I'm sorry I hated on you.
We're not being haters. We just want everyone to be better. That's all.
Including ourselves.
Listen, what did I just say? I tried to read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck because I'm trying to better myself in 2025.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm working on bettering myself just as Leo and Kim are as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.